Спасибо. You guys okay? All good? Last presentation, huh? Are you guys ready? Everybody's tired? Nobody can be tired. I took 1.5 days to get here, so nobody's allowed to be tired. But thank you very much for having me here. You guys, can you hear me down the microphone? Okay. Microphones are strange. Right, looks like a comedy show. I don't know. So thank you very much for having me here. It's the 5th time in Russia, so I've been in Russia a fair amount of time. I love Russia. I have a great friend, Ilya Ruderman. We studied together in The Hague. So that's, I think, my Russian connection started right there. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Super happy. What can I say? I'm a graphic designer, studying graphic design in Brazil, but I think nowadays I consider myself a little bit like a hybrid, creative, but it's a bit tacky name. Means that I'm right on the border between design and art and my personal projects. So if I can start with something, I don't take myself too serious anyway, so the whole life is an experiment. So I try to experiment as much as I can with my work. So I'm trying to do this presentation in this shape. I never did it. So there's a bunch of slides, so I'm going to try to be as fast as I can. But it's a little bit like subconscious, poetical presentation. So let's see. I never did.
Привет, как дела? Я хотел бы узнать о вас немного больше.
So I am full, I am empty, I am full, I am empty, I am full, I am empty, I am full, I'm empty, I'm totally full, I'm totally empty, I'm full, I'm empty, I am Toya. So Toya is a kind of fake Japanese design studio. I love that Japanese design. So because when you say Toya, it looks like Toya, right? But this stands for the office of Yomar Augusto. It's some old stuff from the 60s. I stole it from Charles and Ray Eames. That's why they signed it, the office of Charles and Ray Eames. So but that's not is a normal way how people sign offices in the 60s in the United States. When you don't have no idea what you're gonna call your name, you say, oh, it's the office of something, you know. So that's my life pretty much. It's like in the 90s I was in Brazil. I studied graphic design in Brazil. After my graduation, I decided to move to New York. I moved to New York in 2001. Unfortunately, I was right there when the towers collapsed. So I left, kind of very freaked out. And then I moved back to Rio, worked in Rio for 2.5 years. I wanted to go to England, but I could not pay England. I could pay Rotterdam, the Netherlands, so I decided to go to the Netherlands. And a 2 years plan became 9 years, so I lived in 9 years in the Netherlands. That's where I met Ilya, doing the type media course. I think most of you guys already heard about the course here. This is school in the Netherlands. So after the school, life kind of got a job, changed to another job, got fired, never got a job again, started teaching in the Netherlands. That was great when I saw myself teaching in the Villa de Cunha Academy in Rotterdam. That was like because I was only Dutch kids and I'm a Brazilian guy, third world. So you know what I mean, right? It's very difficult to be in Europe as a foreigner designer. But then my life in Europe exploded and I decided to move to New York on my own, and I made it. I moved to New York in the end of 2012, and I decided to start my own company in New York on my own. So that has been, I felt that 3 years ago was my life achievement. Actually, it's kind of weird. When I got my master in The Hague, I said, oh, this is my life achievement. So I kind of tried to always figure out different life achievements. So yeah, New York was amazing. Oh yeah, so I worked in 3 years in New York and then I moved to California. So I've been moving a lot, and I think I'm not going to move for a while because I love California. It's a very beautiful place to be and to live, very chill, sunny, waves, surf, beach culture. And there's a strong design community as well with Google, all this kind of stuff, but I'm kind of in a different, anyway, my process is like machines and handmade. I'm right between all the, sorry. I sometimes have bad jokes. I hope you guys. So machines and handmade, that's pretty much what it is. Like in machines, like everything you can think about machine. A machine is not just a computer. It can be laser cutters, 3D printers, projection, or flash, camera, and lenses, and handmade lettering, books, drawings, and photography. And inspiration and process. My inspiration comes from maps. I love maps and collect all kind of crazy maps when I travel. These I bought, I think, the last time I was in Moscow. And having a nomad office, I kind of tried to experiment not having a fixed office. This was my experiment through working through parks in New York City. If you have to go to the bathroom, it's a problem, but you figure it out. Go to Starbucks, having. So this was one day office, this was in Harlem, this was my office in Rotterdam, not the whole thing, of course, just the messy part over there. That's my friend, you can see there's a Belgian designer, so he's more a bit cleaner, so we always talking about this thing. But anyway, this is my doing freelance. I primarily, I'm not showing any commercial work, the commercial work that I do. You guys can go to my website and see it. I'm gonna go show you more subconsciously how my mind operates. I think this, it just feels more interesting. This is how I work. I go into these companies, I spend 2 or 3 weeks there, and then I left. I'm never gonna sit at this table again. That's how things goes in my process. I'm an on-site freelancer, but now since I moved to California, my life changed a bit, so I'm kind of looking for projects in Los Angeles. But now I have a studio and I've been working for these places off-site business. So I love to work in libraries. I've been working a fair amount of time in the New York library. Pretty awesome to work in libraries. I love it. This was my first and unique design. This was my design studio in New York. I don't know if you guys been. It's a very expensive place, so you can't have a studio. You're just gonna have a desk. And I said, oh man, I want to have this minimalistic Dutch super clean design. But in reality, that's how things goes. Then I have a studio at home. This studio is gone already. I have a drawing studio that I have no computer, so I try to mix drawing and the computer part where I live at the table and stuff. That's a San Diego library. That's another studio set up. That's my studio. That's my current studio. That's what I have now. It's beautiful. I never had this stuff in this size in my life. So again, I try to be super minimalistic, Swiss and stuff, but I can't. It just exploded. I clean, but go back. And then there's a bit more messy organization. This is total anarchy, but this is more organized mess. So my family is a big inspiration for me. My family is a bunch of crazy artists. This is my mom's work, embroiderings. She's a beautiful fashion designer. She loves embroiderings. And that's my nephew's holding a dead bird. And that's Jojo. And Jojo's a small guy, but he makes these kind of drawings. The drawing is bigger than him. And that's Vincent. He makes a list about films that he wants to see by memory, like Dragon Ball, Thor #2, Star Wars 3, I don't know, Pirates. There's everything from his memory. So it's pretty crazy. And that's my sister, Rose, and she makes books. She's an art book binder, right? And that's my aunt's work. She's very crazy, burning pieces of materials and put them together. And that's my cousin. So that's my family, man, My cousin lives in Czech Republic making puppeteers, toys, and crazy stuff for theaters and parties. That's my cousin's work. And that's my friend. There's a friend of mine in New York called Bo. I am Bo. And when it's summer in New York, that's Bo's house. That's the Bo's right. That's Bo's kitchen. I slept there in this kitchen. I got what the tick is? It's this animal that crawl over and carve on your body to suck your blood. So I got one. But anyway, and that's when Bo climbed. I climbed with him, so he's 73. So it's a pretty inspirational guy to me. He's a friend of mine. So I don't wait for things. If things are on my way, I try to move and get out of the way. So I draw a lot in my new easel. I teach a lot. I've been teaching for 14 years. And it's a great experience. I've been teaching for many different places, and it's a great experience to be a teacher, how you come out of learning things that you can learn teaching. So I try to learn, even it's kind of crazy because when I felt, looks like a Japan, right, shape. I don't know. I collect, this is not fake. When I go to lectures, I always show this. It's not because I'm a Russian, right? But I collect a lot of Russian stuff. I love the typography of this period. I love it. You don't see these stuffs anymore at all, especially in the United States, Starbucks, Burger King, you know what I mean? You don't see it. This is beautiful. I love it. I mean, this raw printing process, I love it. Yeah. So comparing things, city type, we need to type inside of the city, random places, collecting old stamps, going to the supermarket with my mom, and you find this, right? Your iPhone logo, right? Collecting stuffs and mixing stuffs like stair with a bookcase. Found objects. I would love to find this random connection. Who's gonna lock up a big shirt, a big chair somewhere? I don't want it. You got this unlocked. Nobody gonna take it. But anyway, talking to strangers. I don't know in New York. I don't know how it works here, but in the United States, people talk in Brazil. People talk a lot to each other randomly. Oh, it's a nice shirt. It's kind of weird things, but books. I'm gonna show you all my books process, and this I bought myself. I'm not as good as my sister, but I try to do as best as I can. So this is all my process of operation. Books are great because you can carry. I have one book here. So if you guys want to see afterwards, you approach it and I show you. I brought other things, so this is all my experimentation for calligraphy, drawing, and stamping, and put these small books all together. This is a bit more complex with spray and letterpress, chemical drawings as well, small calligraphical zines. And now when I mix calligraphy and laser cut, I've been using a lot of laser cuts. I don't have one yet, but this ideally will be the future. But they're very complicated. When you cut stuff, there's a lot of toxic fumes. It's better actually not even have one because you can get cancer in this guy's race. But anyway, so this is all kind of crazy because you burn the whole calligraphy process. You literally destroy the work to produce a work, right? So I have a couple here of these books here. If you guys want it, the first 6 persons they approach me, I can give it to you one. Yeah. So this is some of, I self-published them, I pay all the printing, and just to have a portfolio to look for work in this new phase that I am. So it's kind of cool to send a promo package instead of just like email PDF. So film projects, they are total different directions. I'm gonna show you two films now. I've been photographing since college when I worked in the black and white department in Brazil. So I've been filming amateurly. I don't make any money with photography and filmmaking, but I love the process. And you guys are gonna see a bit what I've been doing. So this I had these roommates, and they were very crazy in New York. They were I was living with 3 gay guys, and one of them tried to kill himself in the bathtub. Not when I was there, but I want to interview him to understand what happened, and end up talking about politics. But at the same time, he's an art historian, so I interview him a bit. So I'm gonna show you the moves.
Are we ending? Well, this goes back to the beginning, to talking about absolutes, a beginning, an end, boundaries, orders, and this goes back to the monotone. It always goes back to the monotone. It's always about the black square, everything. This absolute presence and absolute absence, all in one. The alpha and the omega. And those aspects of Christianity spoke to me, those extremes, the idea of God as the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. God is both beginning and end. God is everything and nothing at the same time. And that is mind-blowing. But I was also very drawn to this verse in Revelations that said, I will spew you forth from my mouth, for you are neither hot nor cold. I remember being very interested, drawn to, and affected by this series on public television about the civil rights movement of African Americans in this country, and just so outraged at the injustice of it, and feeling like, why are my parents not equally outraged? And why is my father kind of making justifications for the South? And granted, I oversimplified it and saw it as South is bad, North good. But still, it was like, isn't this clearly unjust? What's to argue about this? Why is this even up for debate? This is so obviously grotesque and wrong and unjust. And I felt like, I think I started that age, I'm not even sure when that was, but maybe junior high, recognizing a kind of difference, a distinction from my parents, politically and socially.
Bronx project is a different project where kind of like I was very amazed because in New York is becoming very kind of, I don't know if you guys have been there, but the city was in the 70s were very like dirty, gritty, like a lot of kind of strong personality. Nowadays with this new technology where computers, more phones, and looks like the city is becoming more cleaner and like a little bit more sophisticated. So it's kind of a bit sad, the history. But anyway, my idea for this project was to mix Copacabana, where I come from, to the Bronx. So to showing like, to show a little bit, like doing interviews with people that I found interesting. They were alive in 1970s, because it's 1970s is that decade that I liked a lot, New York City, inside of my research, so because I'm born in 77 anyway. But if you see like shows like The Warriors, and the target showing New York, in my point of view, to Brazilian creative guys, you know, so the show was targeted for a Brazilian creative audience. And my idea to experiment in filmmaking and documentary. But I'm not going to show the whole movies, each movie is kind of long, so if you guys go to copacabronx.com, you can see the 2 movies, but I'm going to show just intros.
1, 2, 3, 4, via!
it's one of my personal projects. That's one of the main projects of the studio. So pretty much if you go all on max.com, you have 4 questions, right? That's where do you come from, where are you now, where do you want to go, and what the journey means to you. With these 4 questions, of course, I send me an email with your journey, and I try to visualize your journey through searching for maps and mixing. What your journey means freedom. Freedom is the final word, and I compose maps from the places that you were or the places that you want to go. Okay. I'm gonna show you the one. Some of the results. I mean, this movie is from 2011, so you see the maps are a bit simpler. It's the beginning of the project, so the project is getting more complex in the way that I've been mixing all the processes like laser cut and isograph and letterpress. It's a mix of 3, like laser cut, letterpress, and risograph, and actually finding the maps as well. The idea is to finding the maps, to look for your journey and visualize your journey. So this is some of the details of the maps. So you can see I'm mixing silk screen and stamping, like border control when you stamp your passport. Stamping is something that becomes very bigger. Next phase I'll be custom-made stamps with type. And let's see what's happening, like really making maps out of the rubber and leather, wood, or even metal. So this project's definitely a long process. So I'll show you where I am now with my own journey. So that's the word freedom, as I mentioned before. That's the word I cut in. There's no better place than home. And that's how the map has been placed in Sharjah, in Dubai. It's Sharjah, not Dubai, near Dubai. The other Principate, the other part of the 7 kingdoms, the other called Sharjah, in the part of the calligraphy biennial this year. So I didn't choose the frame, but anyway, it was kind of cool to see for the first time like this, because that's the idea that I had in my mind for these maps, in place like this. So I'm going to show you my topography and letter process, like very in a dynamic way. So sketching, magazines, sketching, illustration on walls, sketching on chalkboard, magazines, posters, on glass, silk print, doing crazy wedding invitations that I never put again because this guy's a pain ass, on postcards, on wood, drawing cities in silk screen, my sister doing my books out of my silk screen, on walls, silk screen again. I do a lot of stuff in silk print. It's a beautiful technique that I love it. And sketching, laser cut, that's the first we actually start the whole laser cut stuff on this project for LP, for music record, and just weird stamps, on textile, on mixing, calligraphy and letterpress, calligraphy and letterpress, sketching, letterpress, silk screen, on walls, on big papers. These are like big, large calligraphy drawings, and like this is more font design. This font I've been trying a lot. This font is very, I'm going to explain a bit further why this font is very important, but I've been using this font like for specifically designing fonts for laser cut. So this is one of the things I was using for letterpress, and that's like laser cuts. But I don't know, acrylic is not that recyclable. I'm probably not going to use it. Maybe if I find it. What I've been doing, people threw away pieces, and I'm taking the pieces and doing drawings on top of wasted acrylics, kind of. So Marta projects, kind of cool projects. This is a customer project. This actually happened. It's very rare when our agencies actually can work goes forward. But if you see it, if you have a dancer, this project was a custom-made typography for a dancer company, and the idea is to create a small software that you put inside of your Adobe software, and you can write anything you want, Russia, Moscow, Marta, Yomar, or whatever. You can literally write, and you can slide letter by letter, and like a dancer. So if you have the super condensed, where the dancer is totally waiting for a movement, or super flexible. So you can decide if you can give the system to any creative in the world, and you can write, okay, presentation in Chicago, you can slide letter by letter, and then you have the posters. So you mix the letters, the location, extra copy, and the dancers. I had a cool new idea to give the dancers to do the slides, but this never actually happened. So Smoke font is a font that I'm working. I'm gonna try to release it next year. I'm working on this font. It's a font specific for laser cut in a more delicate way. Because laser cut is a very violent process. Cuts and can create fire and stuff like that. Monoviva project. It's a project. Monoviva is literally like hand alive. That's the translation, kind of. And that will be where I'll be selling my artwork, like more craft projects, you know. So I'm working on this project as well. And writing open typefaces like this, and the one that you guys are seeing in the presentation. So all the typographies in the process, on the presentation, everything is custom made from scratch. So my work is literally rooted in type, and around this I do all my concepts. Tile on type, that's primarily when I'm moving now to architecture and typography. So if you have a simple tile like this, simple two typeface tile, if you rotate one of the tiles, you don't see the code anymore. But if you apply in a place, you don't see it. But in the other side of the station is there your information or your poetry, right? There's one side, there's another side. This applied for New York, but it didn't happen. Anyway, you can put this in your kitchen if you want. But anyway. So this is my first typographical wall where this typeface that I did, I'm using for this project, and it's the first time I try to do, I'm not into graffiti that much, but it's the first time when I try to mix typography and architecture where the typography actually fits the building. So I have this brick wall, so the typography is, I think it's 4 or 3 brick high. 4, and you can see the type, right? So that's the whole process of, I did these huge stencils, and we were like making the whole wall. It's the first time I did this kind of project. I'm super happy with the result, and I'm gonna try to pursue more of these kind of projects into different buildings. But I'm always trying to customize the type specifically for that building, not randomly doing a message there like graffiti work. That I think there's no connection between the architecture and the message. But anyway, that's the kind of process, and I have a small video, 1 minute for you guys to see the whole thing. I'm gonna show like I think it's pretty much this. I have a more maybe 2 or 3 projects. This is my first live project. So if you think about what a live project means, where I was working in 180 Amsterdam in the Netherlands, it was my last job, and this project came along. Was the custom-made typography for Adidas for the World Cup. Half of the uppercase came directly from Adidas, but they were very rough drawings. So at 180, we kind of expand the drawing, finalize and refine the whole drawing. And a guy like me that I was used to see my fonts only in flyers or posters, to see this font in a global scale was amazing. So I could travel for different cities and see on the players. These shots are mine from my television. So these shots, I mean, they are nice, but they are very staged. So I prefer like to keep mine for my television. So this massive, I mean, you know that Brazil, Argentina, football, we are kind of enemies. And we don't have a Brazilian guy, Nike team, they have my typeface, so I'm gonna wait for an Argentinian designer to be on the ground suffering with my typeface, so I got it. So this is an Argentinian guy, like, I'm paying with my typeface. So this is where I'm gonna kind of like sum up the presentation. Yo plus Yo, it's my second live project, definitely. I have the book, oh yeah, I have one of the maps here, if you're a person interested to see it. I have the original map here. 2 letters, and 1 letter in 1 task. And I have one part of this project. Yo plus Yo, my father was in Gaza Strip in the 60s, Gaza, in the Middle East. And with the Suez Canal problem, United Nations sent a lot of forces, troop emergency forces, to try to see some the peace treaties in 1956. My father went there in the 60s, beginning of the 60s. Brazil sent soldiers for 15 years, and other countries as well. It was a group of 10 countries. And my father did a very amazing photography work from his time there. Unfortunately, I didn't see the work because he passed away when I was 5 years old. So Yo plus Yo means, because we have the same name, he was Yomar as well. I'm Yomar, so Yo plus Yo. So it's a collaboration between me and him. It's a kind of way that we can talk about this experience that I didn't have the opportunity to understand or to talk to him about it. And the cool thing, he took a bunch of amazing shots, and I have the whole archive. I have everything. I have more than 300 pictures. And that's him, that's Yo, and that's the ride, that's the trip. He did this all by boat, right? I would love to do this trip myself. This is part of my project, but it would be like when down the road the project's gonna be more solid, when I did more. Because all these projects you guys see here, they are financed by me. They own my time and all my money. Of the wall, the graffiti wall, the map project, everything. I put my commercial money into this because I believe in this project. So my life is 50% commercial, 50% these projects, right? And this will be an expensive trip. And anyway, by boat. But that's the archive. There's lights, and unfortunately, I think my mom archived them. And everything got molded. All the molds start to eat the photography work. Everything is light. But the amazing thing, when you start to scan them, you see this, right? The mold incorporated into the photography. And there's no way I'm gonna retouch this. I might correct colors and stuff, but I love the mold. It's like 30 years, at least, oh my God, 60 years. I mean, 60. So it's at least 50 years of Photoshop cooking process of the mold eating the plastic and the chemical reaction. So I'm gonna show you like a couple of shots that have been selected for the project. So this is the mold affecting the picture. So the shots are great. I mean, for a military guy, I mean, his gray eye. He had a gray eye. This is the hero shot. If I can select one shot from the whole project, that's the main shot. It's this massive tanker coming inside of Suez Canal, and he took a shot inside of the car. So, and the great thing, he took a bunch of self-portraits. Inside of the 300 pictures, I have 60 self-portraits. He kind of, think that he was kind of handsome or something, I don't know. So that's the shot that you see, and when I was looking into this light, that's the shot. And that's one of the hero shots as well, this Egyptian boy drinking beers with the Brazilian soldiers. And that's one of, I like the shot a lot. You can see there's one soldier in each window, like in the movement. And he was not a photographer, he was amateur like me. I'm an amateur photographer as well. And for me it's a very personal, deep relationship. Seeing him, I'll literally see myself every day in a way. So that's him again. I love this one a lot. So this is, he's doing this, it's crazy, it looks like a fart. But anyway. I love this one, kind of model. And I love this one as well. He did a mistake and blinked. Because this is a timer, and if you can see, the camera is lower than, the camera is a little lower than his chest. So we try to analyze as well the background check of the photo, how the camera is positioned. For instance, this is a very lower, I don't know who clicked on this shot. Somebody clicked, because otherwise I put the timer and jump to the camel has to stand up. I don't know. I think about these things a lot. So, and that's, I'm going to show you guys all the experimentation, literally. I'm experimenting with stamps as well. I'm going to custom made the stamps. So I even custom made a typeface made by stamps. So if I can sum up in one line the project, it's a visual bridge connecting a father and his son. Calligraphy process, I'm burning type. I custom made this tool with a blacksmith. I went to the blacksmith, spent the whole day in the shop in Brooklyn, custom making this. So it's totally, it's such a personal project. It's the best any commercial gig for sure. And that's how because he didn't know how to build it, so I create this tool, and that's the typeface that I want to burn into the pictures, or wood, or what. I didn't burn yet, so I will, but I can show you, like burning calligraphy. I do the calligraphy on the prints and then burn them, and the calligraphy starts to melt. Like I don't know, I've seen, in Brazil it's normal because everybody has tattoos, I don't have it, but if you see Brazilian guys, the tattoos start to melt because they're on the beach all the time. So it's like a little bit like this, when you're on the sun, your skin melts, the ink melts into your skin. And it's a desert, right? Gaza Strip is a desert. So I've been doing etching process. My next phase on this part is custom made the maps of the places that he stopped. So these are the tests I did with the flower. And that's the process of the prints. I'm gonna show you the prints now. That's our smaller prints, like A4. It's leather, but it's A4, kind of. It's A4. I've been mixing laser cut, but I don't do this anymore because it was crazy chemical dust, and the guys freaked out in the place where I cut. I don't do this anymore. But they are nice. I don't know. I have to think about it. Maybe punch cutter would be to do one and cut the whole thing. No laser cutting, but knife. Let's see. Mixing prints and calligraphy. So these are larger prints. They're the size. I can do one larger than this, like it's a kind of 1 meter wide, a bit less, I guess. They are very big, allow me to experiment a bit in a different way. So the book, I have the book here if you guys want to see it. I mean, again, come over and I should. So the book I mixed, like each book is custom made, so the book, the cover is laser cut, into the typography is custom made, is laser cover by cover, and that's my mom did the bag, so like mom and dad together. It's kind of funny because he's not there anymore, so I can kind of try to mix. So it's on my page of the book. And in the future, I think I will try to mix all of my maps project and this project because there's a lot of traveling involved on PO+Yo, and I can reconstruct everything by the maps. So this is the rough cut of the movie. I'm working on this movie to show the project. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, or if I'm going to try a Kickstarter for next year, or to have a movie that I can show to future investors or publishers. And then for me, I'm very into the movie thing now, so I'm trying to exercise into what Yo+Yo means to me as well, as son. So I'm going to show you. Thank you.